Ladies, let me tell you something. If you ever want to know what makes a man lay in bed all night thinking about you, not just wanting you, but thinking about you, it's not about how you look. That's temporary. It's about the impact you have on his spirit. See, men, we simple, but we wired to chase what moves us emotionally. And when a woman gets in a man's head, it ain't just because she's fine, it's because she brings peace, purpose, mystery, and value. You want to be unforgettable? Don't chase him. Make him work to earn your attention. Be the woman who speaks to his future, not just his present. Be his calm when the world is chaos. Trust me, he'll be up at 2 a.m. replaying every word you said, wondering how he got so lucky or how he let you slip. And let me say this, a man might desire 100 women, but the one he thinks about all night, that's the one he can't replace. Let me tell you something that most women don't realize, especially in today's world where everything is about filters, likes, followers, and how perfect you can look on social media. A lot of y'all are chasing perfection when what a man really remembers is presence. Now, don't get me wrong. Men notice beauty. We see it. We appreciate it. We wired that way. But beauty, that's the appetizer. What makes us stay for the full course? What makes us think about you all night long is how we felt when you walked into the room, when you spoke, when you laughed, when you just existed in your own skin. That's presence. That's energy. That's something you can't Photoshop, you can't fake, and you sure can't buy it in a bottle. See, every woman's got a look, but not every woman's got that vibe. And it's that vibe, that self-assured, grounded, authentic presence that lingers with a man long after you're gone. That's what makes him sit in his car after the date just replaying your words. That's what makes him scroll back through your messages just to feel close to you again. That's what keeps him up at night wondering, man, what is it about her? It's how you carry yourself. It's how you speak with conviction, how you smile like you mean it, how you look him in the eye like you see through him. Not in a rude way, but in a way that makes him feel seen. You don't need to be perfect. In fact, perfection is boring. Perfection is intimidating. But presence is magnetic. It pulls a man in, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That's the connection that lasts. Some women walk into a room and all the heads turn because of what they're wearing. But there's always that one woman, maybe she ain't the loudest or the flashiest. But when she walks in, the room shifts. People straighten up. She doesn't demand attention, but she commands it. That's presence. That's confidence. That's energy. And let me tell you something, fellas, don't forget that. Not ever. Ladies, the thing is, when you're obsessed with perfection, you're putting all your effort into the external. But a man who's looking for more than just a fling, a man is looking for something real. He's not just studying your face, he's studying your energy. Your energy tells him more than your outfit ever could. It tells him if you know your worth. It tells him if you're grounded or insecure. It tells him if you love yourself. And when a man senses that a woman knows her value, when she don't need to be the loudest voice in the room because she's already full on the inside, that sticks with him. That's what keeps him up at night thinking about you. You ever been around a woman who just knows who she is? I mean, she doesn't have to prove it to anybody. She's not playing games. She's not desperate for attention. She's not trying to be who the world tells her to be. She's just her. That kind of woman, man, listen, you don't forget her. That's the kind of woman a man might lose and spend years trying to replace. And he won't even know what it was at first. He'll just say she had something about her. That something is presence. That something is authenticity. Now let me be real. Presence doesn't mean perfection in how you speak or how you dress. Presence means being aligned with your truth. It means knowing you don't have to chase love because you are loved. It means walking into every space like you belong there. Not because you're arrogant, but because you respect yourself too much to shrink. You smile not because you want attention, but because you're genuinely joyful. You ask questions and listen deep. You let your light shine without trying to dim anyone else's. That's presence. And I promise you, a man who's worth your time, a man who's thinking about you at 2:47 a.m., he ain't just thinking about how you looked in that dress. He's thinking about how you made him feel when you looked him in the eyes and really listened. He's thinking about that moment you laughed from your soul and lit up the whole damn room. He's thinking about how calm he felt next to you, like his whole world slowed down. That's present. You can't teach that, you live it. So stop chasing perfection. Stop thinking you gotta be flawless to be unforgettable. The most unforgettable people in the world are the ones who showed up as themselves. So don't just show up with style, show up with soul. A man can see beauty anywhere, but presence leaves a mark, and that's what'll have him thinking about you all night long. Let me tell you something real, something every woman needs to hear loud and clear. You want to know what makes a man think about you long after the date's over, long after the call ends, long after you walk out the door. You want to know what keeps you living rent-free in his head. It's peace, not pressure, not perfection, peace. Now, see, the world is already hard on a man. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you the truth. Every day a man wakes up, there's a battle he's got to fight. Bills to pay, responsibilities to carry, expectations to meet. Sometimes he's got people depending on him. Sometimes he's got dreams he's chasing. Sometimes he's got wounds he don't even talk about. Life ain't always soft for a man. So when he comes to you, when he spends time with you, what he's really craving deep down is relief. He ain't always going to say it. He may not even know how to express it. But what he's praying for when he lays his head down at night is peace, a place where he can just breathe. See, a lot of women have been taught how to attract a man's eyes, but not his soul. You know how to dress up, look good, make an impression, and that's fine. But if you want to be the woman he can't stop thinking about, the one who lives in his head long after y'all part ways, then you gotta learn how to be his calm in the storm. Be the one place he don't have to perform, the one space where he don't have to wear a mask, the one person who sees him as a man, not just for what he does or what he has, but for who he is. Let me break it down even further. Peace ain't about being quiet. Peace ain't about never having a disagreement or pretending everything is fine. Peace is deeper than that. Peace is when you communicate with grace. It's how you handle conflict without chaos. It's how you respond, not just react. It's your energy, your attitude, the way you listen, the way you make a man feel safe to be vulnerable. Now, I already know some women are going to say, well, Steve, where's my peace? Who's going to bring me peace? And that's a valid question, because peace should be mutual. I'm not saying you got to be a man's emotional dumping ground. I'm saying when two people come together, both of y'all should bring healing energy, not trauma. Both of y'all should add to each other's lives, not drain it. But here's the thing, when you start with peace, when you become peace, you naturally attract people who reflect that back to you. If you're chaotic, you attract chaos. If you're grounded, you attract stability. That's real talk. Ladies, listen to me. There's something about a woman who can calm a man down with just her voice, with just her presence. A woman who can talk to a man with love even when she's upset. A woman who knows when to speak and when to be silent. Not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. That kind of woman, she stays in a man's head. She don't get replaced easily. She don't get over quickly. Because once a man experiences peace, real peace, he won't go back to chaos. He might mess around, he might be tempted by what looks good, but when it's time to build, when it's time to settle, he wants peace, period. You ever notice how some men will say, man, I can't stop thinking about her? It ain't always about the way she looked. Sometimes it's about the way she made him feel safe, heard, understood. Some of y'all think men don't need that, but we do. And we don't get it everywhere. Trust me on that. You could be the most beautiful woman on the planet, but if every time a man comes around you, he feels judged, criticized, compared, disrespected, he may stay for a little while, but he won't rest there. And a man stays where he finds rest. You want to be unforgettable, be that peace. Be the one who doesn't raise her voice just to be heard. Be the one who encourages more than she complains. Be the one who listens without waiting to talk. Be the one who knows when to give space and when to give support. I'm not saying let him walk all over you. I'm saying know your values so deeply that you don't need to prove it through conflict. Sometimes silence speaks louder. Sometimes grace hits harder. Sometimes the softest woman has the strongest impact. You want to know something fun? A man could have a whole lot of options, but if just one of them brings him peace, he'll keep circling back to her. She may not be the loudest. She may not be the flashiest, but she's the one that quiets his mind when the world gets loud. That's the one that sticks with him. That's the one that haunts him when he messes up. That's the one he thinks about when he lays in bed staring at the ceiling. And no matter how far he goes, that peace, it calls him back. So don't get caught up trying to impress with what you wear, what you drive, what you post. All that what lasts is how you make people feel. When a man leaves your presence feeling stronger, calmer, better, he won't forget you. He'll crave you, because peace is rare. And a peaceful woman in this loud, chaotic world, that's priceless. Ladies, let me break something down for you that most women don't even think about anymore. Mystery. Keeping a little mystery is one of the most powerful things you can do in a relationship, especially in the early stages. But nowadays, everybody's out here putting everything on the table. Their whole life, their emotions, their past, their plans, their body, their everything, all in the first few conversations. You texting paragraphs, you spilling your whole story, you sending photos before he even learns your middle name, you giving away the whole book before he even earns the first chapter, and then you wonder why he ain't calling you at night, why he ain't chasing you, why he's not putting in that effort. Let me tell you why, because you gave him everything too fast. Now don't get it twisted. I ain't saying you gotta play games. This ain't about manipulation. This ain't about making a man guess whether you're interested. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: when you leave a little room for a man to wonder, to figure you out, to pursue you, you become unforgettable. Because the truth is, men are wired to chase. It's in us. We don't value what we didn't work for. In mystery, that's the spark that keeps the chase alive. That's what keeps a man lying in bed thinking, man, I can't quite figure her out. I need to see her again. See, when a woman gives it all away too soon, her thoughts, her feelings, her availability, her body, her everything, a man may enjoy it in the moment, but it don't leave no lasting impact. It's like a movie with no suspense, no build-up, no surprise. It might look good, but you forget it 5 minutes after the credits roll. But when a woman knows how to pace the connection, when she reveals herself slowly, piece by piece, that's the woman a man can't stop thinking about, because he doesn't have it all. He's still discovering, he's still curious. There's something powerful about a woman who keeps a little bit of herself to herself, not because she's hiding anything, but because she knows her value. She knows that not every man deserves full access. She knows that the best parts of her soul, her heart, her story, those things are earned, not just handed out like coupons. That kind of woman, that's the woman that stays on a man's mind. That's the one he calls late at night just to hear her voice again. That's the one he keeps checking for, even when other women are around. Ladies, listen to me. Mystery is not about being distant, it's about being selective. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about being intentional with what you share, and when you share, it's about letting a man experience you, not just consume you. Some of y'all out here giving a man the entire 10-season series of your life in one date and then wondering why he ain't tuning in for the next episode. He already saw it all. There's nothing left to wonder about. But when you pace yourself, when you give him a reason to lean in a little more each time, now you've got his attention. And more importantly, now you've got his respect. And let's talk about access. Some of y'all giving 24/7 access to a man who hasn't shown he's serious, picking up every call, responding to every text within seconds, changing your schedule, dropping your boundaries, rearranging your world for a dude who hasn't even proven he's worth the effort. That's not mystery, that's availability. And too much availability kills desire, because what's always there, what's too easy to get, doesn't get appreciated. But when you move with intention, when you make him earn your time, your energy, your attention, he don't take you for granted. He thinks about you. He plans for you. He makes room in his life for you. Now let's talk about conversation. You don't need to tell a man everything at once. Let your story unfold. Let him ask questions. Let him want to know more. You don't have to reveal every detail about your past in the first hour. You don't have to talk about your ex, your heartbreak, your goals, your family trauma all at once. That's emotional overload. That ain't intimacy, that's trauma dumping. Save the deep stuff for when you've built trust. Let him earn the right to hear your truth. That's where the mystery comes in, and that's what keeps him coming back. Not because you're hiding, but because you understand the power of timing. There's also mystery in the way you carry yourself, how you walk, how you speak, how you don't overshare. A woman who can sit in silence and still make a man feel safe. That's a woman he thinks about long after she's gone. A woman who listens more than she talks, who smiles with knowing, who gives just enough but never too much. She lingers in a man's spirit because she ain't trying to impress. She's just being. She ain't performing. She's confident. That confidence, that quiet knowing, that's what makes a man feel like I need to know more about her. Mystery is also about not being too predictable. Don't be the woman he can read like a manual. Be the one who surprises him. One day you're laughing loud.
The next day you're reflective and calm. One day you're talking dreams. The next you're observing, watching, taking things in. Show different sides of yourself. Reveal your layers slowly. That's what makes you unforgettable. That's what has a man sitting in his car after a date like, she's different. I can't quite figure her out and I love it. So here's what I'm saying. Every time you meet a man, you don't have to spill your soul. Every text doesn't have to be a every photo doesn't have to be revealing. You don't have to give it all away to prove you're real. The right man will be drawn to your mystery. He'll respect the parts of you that you keep sacred, and he'll work gladly to uncover who you really are, layer by layer. And trust me when I say this, a woman who knows how to keep a little mystery, that woman gets remembered, that woman gets pursued, that woman stays on a man's mind all night long. Let me tell you something, and I need every woman listening to hear me loud and clear. Confidence is everything. I don't care what size you are. I don't care what shade your skin is. I don't care what your hair looks like today or if your outfit costs $10 or $1,000. When you walk into a room like you know who you are, when you move like your worth isn't up for debate, that right there, that's magnetic. That's what makes a man sit up straighter. That's what makes him pause mid-conversation. That's what makes him remember you long after you leave. Confidence makes a man think about you all night. Now let me break it down. A lot of women confuse confidence with arrogance, or with being loud, or with trying to prove something. But that ain't what I'm talking about. True confidence, it's quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just is. A confident woman don't need to tell you how amazing she is. You feel it when she walks in. You hear it in her voice. You see it in the way she makes eye contact. The way she stands tall even when no one's watching. The way she speaks with grace, not desperation. That's real confidence. And that right there, that hits different. See, men, real men, we're not just drawn to looks. Don't get me wrong. We notice beauty, of course, but beauty is everywhere. What's rare, what's unforgettable, what sticks with a man and keeps him tossing and turning at night is a woman who knows who she is and owns it. That energy, you can't fake that. That's not in your makeup bag, it ain't in your Instagram filter, and it sure ain't in no magazine. It's in you. And when you carry yourself like a woman who don't need validation from anybody, that's when you become irresistible. I'll give it to you straight. A woman who lacks confidence is exhausting to be around. She questions everything. She doubts everything. She's insecure, constantly seeking reassurance, constantly wondering if she's enough. And that kind of energy, it drains a man because now he's not just showing up for the relationship. He's got to build her up every single day just to keep her from falling apart. But a confident woman, she's a breath of fresh air. She doesn't need you, but she chooses you. She's not afraid to walk away if she's not being valued. And that strength, that's what makes a man sit up at night thinking, damn, she's different. You ever seen a woman who may not fit society's definition of perfect, but she walks into the room like she owns the place, and everybody turns to look not because of how she looks, but because of the way she moves, because her energy says, I'm here, I'm enough, I'm not competing, I'm complete. That's what confidence does. It shifts the atmosphere. It makes people stop and pay attention. And the man who sees that, he ain't just looking at her curves or her clothes. He's mesmerized by her presence. That's the kind of woman that haunts his memory. Let me take it a step further. Confidence shows up in how you handle rejection, in how you handle disappointment. A confident woman don't crumble when a man doesn't choose her. She simply understands that she wasn't meant to settle. She knows that one man's maybe doesn't define her worth. And that kind of resilience, that kind of unshakable self-worth, that is unforgettable. Because most people fall apart when things don't go their way. But a woman who stands tall through it all, that's a woman who stays on your mind. Confidence is also about knowing your standards and not lowering them for attention. Some of y'all bend too quick. You meet a man and suddenly your boundaries disappear. You compromise your values, your time, your body, all to keep him interested. But let me tell you something. A man might take what you give, but he'll never value what came too cheap. A confident woman doesn't lower herself to fit in a man's world. She invites him into hers. And if he can't rise to her level, she doesn't beg, she doesn't plead. because her self-respect is too loud to be ignored. That woman, yeah, she's the one he thinks about. The one who got away, the one who made him realize I wasn't ready for her. Now let's talk about communication. A confident woman speaks with clarity. She says what she means, and she means what she says. She's not passive aggressive. She's not waiting for you to read her mind. She communicates with maturity. She can express her needs without fear. And that emotional intelligence, that's a term because real men don't want confusion. They want connection. And when you bring that grounded, calm, self-assured energy into your conversations, the man will remember your words, not because they were loud, but because they were real. You also see confidence in how a woman treats other people. She doesn't compete. She compliments. She celebrates other women. She uplifts. She doesn't need to dim someone else's light to feel like she's shining. That's the mark of a secure woman. And men notice that. We see when a woman carries herself with grace, when she can walk into any room and elevate it just by being there. That's beauty on another level. That's soul level attraction. And you don't forget that kind of woman, not ever. Let me tell you one last thing. Confidence isn't about never having insecurities. We all got them. It's about not letting those insecurities control you. It's about loving yourself through the mess. It's about waking up every day and choosing to show up as your full self, flaws and all. And when a man sees a woman who embraces herself, not because she's perfect, but because she's whole, he thinks about her over and over again. Because in a world full of masks and performance, a confident woman who keeps it real, that's the rarest treasure of all.